Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. I'm back with a brand new What If. I'm back with what if Deku had a curse and bless Quirk. This was suggested by somebody. I'm not 100% sure who, but if you know who you are, just comment down below. I'll pin your comment, and I can always double check after the video is made. If that comment is correct, but someone did suggest it, and I'm sorry, I really don't remember, and I don't have time to look back at the moment. But nonetheless, as always, I hope y'all enjoy, and I hope y'all leave a like, sub, go to the comment section below, leave any suggestions, and yeah, that's about it. Check the description below as well, and as always, I hope y'all enjoy. And let's just get right into the what if. Let's get it.
A blessing and a curse. Quirks were seen all around the world in this universe. On planet Earth, far different than any powers that would ever be seen before. Quirks were what made you you. Quirks determined if you would live a life full of riches and prosperity or live a normal life like everyone else. Almost everybody in this world had quirks. You wouldn't see many people in your classrooms, on the streets, and many other places without one. But were these really blessings? Or was it just a curse? The young Izuku Midoriya, our main character of this story, would soon find out exactly what this meant. The difference between a blessing and a curse. Izuku would be born seemingly without a quirk, but what he didn't know is that there was torture to come. Many kids, many students, colleagues, people that were next to him, people that knew him, would treat him like garbage. His childhood friend, the one that was raspy, maybe had egotistical ideals, but was rowdy at the same time, Katsuki Bakugo, would turn on him as if it was just a snap of the fingers. Izuku would meet more and more people, but once they found out that he was quirkless, it didn't matter anymore what he could say, what he wanted to do, or what he could do. Izuku Midoriya was a nobody, was nothing, pathetic. That's what Izuku Midoriya was, and that's how everyone else looked at him. Izuku would be broken by this, saddened, hurt. He would be on the ground crying almost every single day to his mother. But his mother would tell him over and over that his life, it may feel accursed right now. It may feel as if he was cursed by the gods above. But she would remind him that a blessing will always come, especially for the ones who deserve it, especially for the ones who truly matter. Yes, he may be going through horrible things. She knows this. She's even tried to get him out of school, but nothing really worked. No one would look at Izuku as the person to respect. Izuku would hold on to that last bit of hope that his mother would give him, that his mother would allow him to hold. But his curse would continue on, because he was not only quirkless, but soon he would be motherless. Inko Midoriya, the mother of Izuku Midoriya, would die in a fatal car crash soon after Izuku's 10th birthday. And well, let's just say, this kid, this sad boy, Izuku Midoriya, would feel broken, would feel cursed. That's until something happened that next morning. In a puddle of his own tears, crying himself to sleep, Izuku would wake up. But everything felt different. One side of his body felt as if he was overjoyed, perfect. Everything around him couldn't have been more blissful. But then the other side felt dark, cloudy, everything around him felt horrible. It was as if there was sharp contrasts between two personalities, sharp contrasts between two different lives. How was he supposed to look at this? What was happening? Was this just part of the process of mourning his mother's death? Or was this something else? Izuku would eventually pop into foster care. As a 10-year-old, what were you supposed to do? Frankly, nothing. No one cared about a 10-year-old. They wanted a baby. They wanted a child. 2, 3, max 4 years old. When you got to 5, 6, 7, 8, you weren't coming out of there. You would need a very special case, a very special type of person, or a person, well, that really, really, really had a messed up head. And eventually, at the age of 12, Izuku would find that person, but not for the reason that he thought. During this 2-year span, Izuku would show glimpses of things happening. For kids that would cry, children that would be sad, they'd be perked up in a second. They'd be happy. They would be glad. Out of nowhere, Izuku would just walk by, smile toward them, and they would say, "Hi, Izuku," being the nicest kids you've ever seen. The depression, the sadness, all gone. But then you'd have kids bullying, hurting others, bullying them for their quirks, their lack of quirks, even bullying Izuku. And for some reason, those kids would go ill, would be in a state of hurt for weeks. But luckily they would recover. It's as if their curse would wear off. But it's the same thing for all the other kids that would smile. Eventually their blessing would wear off. Because even Izuku knew that happiness and sadness were no permanent ideals. They did not last forever. Izuku knew. He eventually realized what he was able to do, but he didn't know how to control it. How could you control a power like that? Control someone's emotional state? Would they have to be deserving of it? Could he bless someone that was so horrible in their actions? Could he bless someone like his old buddy, Katsuki Bakugo? He wasn't sure. He wasn't, not at all. But at the end of the day, these are things that need to be found out. And eventually, he would find them out very soon when he would get adopted by a parent. And this parent wanted things to be on the down low because he was the number 2 hero. Endeavor, fiery as ever, would be angry, pissed, and it seems like he accursed his own life, as if he was falling behind the number 1 hero for the entirety of it. Maybe he was losing something. Humanity? His children? Well, Izuku didn't know, but he can feel it within this man. This would be a test, but a test that he could not put into action, not immediately, because he still didn't know how to control his quirk properly. Eventually, Endeavor would settle on Izuku, hearing about this kid's powers, at least the rumors of it. And of course, Endeavor would take him away, telling him that the only thing that he'll be doing is training with his young boy, Shoto Todoroki. He needed to learn to use his powers properly and not just use his so-called ice powers. And maybe he can make the boy happy. Maybe he can make him feel, well, proper, especially after his mother abandoned him. Izuku, hearing all this, takes it at face value initially, obviously not knowing what's happening by any means, but eventually he would meet the boy, Shoto Todoroki. Stoic, he seemed odd. Izuku would walk up to him with a look of, well, sorrow on his face, feeding off of the sadness that, well, Todoroki had himself. Izuku would begin speaking with him, asking what he likes to do, what is his favorite foods. But of course, very few responses were even heard. Very few responses would be said by Shoto. very subtle things would basically trigger him if they weren't careful. Izuku wasn't trying to hurt him. Izuku wanted him to feel better. Well, of course, that's what Endeavor wanted, but Endeavor doesn't really know the pain of feeling alone. Izuku did, though. All he cared about was his mother, and that was gone, taken away from him. But Todoroki's mother isn't gone. She may be hospitalized from the things he's heard, but she's not gone, not yet. Izuku tells him that wasn't his fault. None of it was. That Endeavor is the reason behind it. And Shoto lashes out saying that he knows it's his fault, that it's Endeavor's fault, and that he'll never use that side of his quirk because that's the side that hurt his mother. That's the side that made his mother hate him. And Izuku would shake his head, saying that his mother did not hate him. Of course not. It's his mother. Izuku would sit down and start struggling to smile, but would break one. But just as he did, tears would stream down his face as he tells Shoto Todoroki that his mother died not too long ago. Right after his 10th birthday, she was gone just like that. He would tell him, don't and never dwell on the past, especially when someone that cares about you and that you care about them, well, they're still out there. Izuku cannot, well, let's just say cannot see his mother again. A tombstone is the only thing that he could even remotely check out. But nonetheless, he still carries the same smile, the same joy within himself, even if it's hard sometimes. And he understands that. It is. And he can tell that Shoto's been abused. Shoto's been hurt badly. Izuku would reach out his hand, but Shoto would flinch, telling him to back away. Izuku would shake his head once again and says to shake his hand. Shoto, not sure, but still decides to do so as they shake hands, and it's as if this flood of joy goes throughout Shoto's body. Izuku stands there as it seems that wounds within Shoto or on Shoto's body heal instantaneously. The scar even healing quite a bit, but unfortunately, that scar was too deep. He wouldn't be able to heal it entirely. But it seems that the kid deserved a blessing and Izuku was able to control it and give it to him. Maybe that's something he'll continue to be able to do. Maybe it's something that he can't control, but still, he's gonna try at least. I mean, he's gone through enough to watch someone else go through the same, so he feels like he kind of owes it to him, at least at this moment. Todoroki feels way better. Feels as if he now understands. He understands everything that's around him and everything that happened. Of course, Endeavor is going to be Endeavor. His attitude, his regimen, it's all going to be the same. Izuku begins training with Todoroki, learning more and more about his powers, while both of them learning more and more about each other's powers. They become like brothers, but they hide this from Endeavor. And Todoroki even asks if if Izuku could make Endeavor into a better father, but he doesn't know. He's not sure if that's even possible. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it's kind of out of his power. He's trying to learn to fight on his own for now. I mean, he's only done things for other people, never for himself. So maybe he can learn to defend himself as well and become a hero with Shoto. Izuku brings this up and Todoroki's fine with this. Izuku helped Todoroki throughout these years and continues to help him get over his issue with his other bit of his power, his flames. But he refuses, at least at this moment, to reveal his basically remedy for this. He refuses to admit to Endeavor that he'll use his flames, acting as if he never has. But he has. He Well, Izuku knows this. He knows this. And he'll continue to use them without the knowledge of Endeavor, at least to basically try his best to learn how to use his said powers. Both of his powers. Izuku begins learning about himself, about the power that he can bestow upon himself through the blessings of his own quirk, and he continues to do this, and he realizes that his power seems to be extremely untapped. He thought that he was already at a point where he was knowledgeable about it, but this is different. Izuku now knows something that he never thought he would, initially at least. Now he knows that he can boost his own strength, speed, and basically other attributes about himself through the uses of blessings, or at least the blessing of himself. It's an odd concept, he believes. It's as if he is some otherworldly being now, but how does that even explain anything? How would he even explain that to anybody? He's not so sure. Frankly, it's kind of a concept that is unbeknownst to him, but still, if he focuses enough, he's actually able to bless himself, more or less allowing himself to gain power that he didn't even know about in the first place. Power that wouldn't even exist at all unless he even drummed up this idea. It's as if the blessing itself gives him power, but based on his own mind, his own willpower, his own creativity. One day during sparring at the age of about 14, Izuku and Todoroki are combating each other, and they're fighting, sparring really hard, and they're making sure that they get the most out of these fights, feeling that that is how they'll grow, eventually leading to Izuku getting this glow around him, a white glow, but has a dark shadow around him as well, and it seems like he's able to output the uses of his blessings in terms of personal power, but also curses, a weird curse-like remedy, it seems, and this power is something different. It seems like it's a more brute force, strength of a power, but Izuku can feel that it has this evil intent, as if he uses it, it is an intent to kill, to slaughter, to end someone's life. Of course, Izuku doesn't want this to be the thing. He doesn't want to feel this way. But still, this is what it feels like, and this is what it seems like. But Izuku would begin to tame this so-called power, learning of the strength of a blessing and learning of the strength of a curse, because both of them individually do very different purposes, but at the same time serve the same purpose. A quirk for Izuku Midoriya, the once quirkless human. Now this seems like an alleyway, a pathway for him to get stronger, a way for him to become a hero. But he's not even sure. He gets this feeling during the nights, a dark shadow above him, but then light creeps in and he wakes up in a snap. That's all it takes, and that's all it would be. He's not sure. He's not so sure what the hell is going on, or what's even concluding in these so-called dreams, or maybe even premonitions. But still, he wants to follow the path of the righteous, and follow the path of being a hero, like his idol, All Might. Ironically enough, he may be living and be the adopted son, or technical son, of, well, Endeavor, the number 2 hero. But let's be honest, there is no way Izuku would enjoy being, well, the son of Endeavor. Of course, he still follows the way of being a hero from his idol All Might. And one day on a television screen, he'd be extremely surprised when he'd see All Might saving a young boy from, well, a giant sludge villain. It's odd. The boy looks familiar. Why isn't it ringing a bell to Izuku? He's not sure. But still, he tries to keep this away from his mind. He doesn't want to think about it too much. But at the same time, he is curious. Why does he look so familiar? Why doesn't he remember him? Well, this boy is Katsuki Bakugo. All of you probably concluded that already, but Izuku has been far secluded from anybody he's known in his past. Anybody he's known from that type, or that during that phase of his life. And now, he lives a different life. One that of, well, a high-tier hero, but he's not necessarily treated like, well, a son. He's treated like a tool. Of course, a way for Shoto Todoroki to get stronger. That's exactly what Izuku is. And there's no beating around the bush on that one. And Izuku knows it as well. Well, nonetheless, Izuku finds this to be the way to the path of power, but also to the path of being a hero. And he would get his chance when Izuku would get recommended with Shoto to Class 1A at UA High School. He would be shocked that Endeavor would recommend him, and of course he would have to take the recommendation exams. And let's just say, he would keep up with the likes of Todoroki, Inasa, and many others that were gifted in that recommendation exam. And there was a reason why Endeavor wanted him to go to Class 1A with Shoto. And of course they had to take that exam, and UA told him that, including obviously Nezu, telling him that it's not as simple as just letting the child in. But now that they've seen the potential of Izuku and also Todoroki, they know exactly why he was saying it. Izuku's raw power alone is impressive. Something so fast, so strong. Izuku has it all. But at the same time, he has such a unique power, a unique skill that many others can't even decipher, and it seems like Aizawa himself cannot cancel. Aizawa in the rafters even tried, but it didn't work. He's not sure how his powers, or how Izuku's powers, even works at a matter of fact, but, I mean, why does it matter? He realizes something, that Izuku has basically shown something that nobody else really has. A very unique quirk that can't be explained. That is unique enough to get Aizawa's attention and Nezu's. This allows both Izuku and Todoroki to obviously join Class 1A, just because of how good they are, at least quote-unquote how good they are with their quirks, and Todoroki isn't even using his fire side, in which Aizawa questions him about, but of course Todoroki reveals to Aizawa and Nezu that he's only not using it because his father is watching. He's used it before and has trained it. He has no reason not to, and starting in UA, he'll make sure to basically use it at its most will that he possibly can, in which they're happy to hear, but they wonder why he's doing such a thing. An explanation, Todoroki says he can't give, but he will maybe in the future when he trusts them a little more. Of course, that is fine. They don't need to tell them everything, but all they need to know is that they'll be accepted into UA. And of course, that would be the groundworks of their futures as heroes. Izuku and Todoroki would head back to the Endeavor residence, and, well, or the Todoroki residence, and would basically go on with their life as normal. And of course, it would go on relatively just training and same old. Everything that they would do normally, they would continue to do. And eventually, UA would begin. And now, both of their journeys begin with one step through this giant door. Yeah, literally, a giant door. Well, they both walk in, and immediately Izuku sees him. That boy. The same one he saw on the TV that All Might saved. The same one that he just can't put his finger on it. He realizes it. It all comes back like a shock. Immediately, he thinks about his mom, about what she said, everything, about all the kids, about what they said, about calling him worthless, a piece of garbage, everything. He remembers. Such a young kid. Why would they tell him these things? Izuku would remember. This kid was supposed to be his friend. Katsuki Bakugo. Even kids like him can get in. He's seen Todoroki. Kid that was practically tortured in his own home. Brought to think that for himself it was his mother, or it was his fault that his mother left. No, he realized that it was his father's fault, but mistakes will be made, and mistakes were made. But this kid, he was gifted everything. A quirk, and one strong one at that, and a loving family. How could they be the same? They're not the same. They're different. So different. So, why? Why is he allowed to be here? Izuku thinks about all of this. Todoroki taps him on the shoulder asking if he's okay, and he would lie, saying that he's fine. He would go sit down, and Bakugo would stare at him, wondering the same thing. How did he get in here? And how is he here? And what is he doing here? And what's going on? He hasn't seen him for years. I don't know how. He can't even recount how long it's been. 5 maybe? 8? Maybe longer? He doesn't know. He hasn't seen his childhood best friend, quote unquote, for a long time. But he doesn't say a word. He remembers everything they called him back then. Maybe it's a matter of him not wanting to own up to it, or maybe it's a matter of him still believing it. Izuku Midoriya was always the loser kid without a quirk. Was always the kid that was cursed. A kid that didn't have a quirk and, well, never would get one. So how the hell did he get in? He would contemplate this while sitting down. Eventually, Aizawa would enter. He would tell everyone to shut up, telling them all to be quiet immediately, that this is no time for mingling, that this is time to show what they got. A test, an assessment. That's exactly what they'll be doing instead of this, well, this BS called orientation. Something to build the kids up, praise how good they are, congratulate them on making it to UA. It doesn't matter. Aizawa makes that clear. Orientation is useless. They're just, well, useless entirely. The fact that they need to be praised is something idiotic. UA is the top of the top. There is no being praised anymore. You're here with technical equals, or at least that's what they're going to prove right now. He tells all of them to get on their PE uniforms and head outside, because they have a job to get done. They are quickly dressed up, sent out, and now Aizawa is waiting on all of them. As they all arrive, Aizawa explains, there's a test, a ball throw, and this is going to be exactly how your middle school exams were, or at least physical exams were. You would throw a ball as far as you can, but in this regard, you need to throw it using your quirk as far as you can. He then calls for the Pomeranian, the blonde-haired boy with dynamite in his hands, Katsuki Bakugo, telling him to hurry up and get up front. He was the first place in the entrance exam, the class representative, right? He throws Bakugo the ball, and Bakugo winds up, gritting his teeth, and he screams, "Die!" And the ball goes launching further and further and further, going about 900 meters. Everybody oohs and ahs, and many begin to think how fun this is going to be. Todoroki, with a slight smile on his face, but the smile disappears, knowing that this is a serious test, and he can tell that there is more to it than that. He looks toward Izuku, and his face hasn't changed. Straight-faced, serious, and it seems like Izuku has come to the same conclusion. Aizawa would turn, telling everybody that this is no fun and games, and if they want to make it fun and games, you might as well put a challenge on it, because who doesn't like competition? Aizawa explains to them that whoever gets last place, everything will be scored, and whoever gets last place overall will be expelled. And if they don't all try their best, he'll just expel all of them. Because frankly, the scoring in this entrance exam, or all the entrance exams, is BS, and this is the true test. In front of him, and in front of a teacher of UA, someone, a pro hero that's done it before. Aizawa then looks toward Izuku and basically snaps his fingers toward him, telling him to follow him and come do the same thing. He can tell that Izuku knew that this was coming, and he even kept a straight face the entire time. Straight to business. Aizawa says he likes that, but he needs to see if he's capable. Izuku grabs the ball, and in a rush of power flows through him, and a dark aura would appear, but then disappear instantaneously. Izuku would then light up the ball as if it was glowing this white color, and he'd launch it. It goes skyrocketing, and Izuku would look toward Aizawa and look back toward the ball, and Aizawa would look at his phone. 2,000 meters. You know what, kid? Now that's something. Impressive. Now, all of you think that this is some joke. Our good buddy here, Izuku Midoriya, is not taking it so lightly. So, who wants to get expelled? And that is a wrap for What If Deku Had a Curse and Bless Quirk Part 1. I hope y'all enjoyed. I definitely took my time a little bit more with Part 1. I thought I could make it as best as I possibly could for y'all. I know I've been gone for a little bit. It's almost been a week. I've been kind of sick. I've been dealing with eye problems. I've been dealing with allergies. It's horrible. I'm still dealing with allergies right now. You can probably hear it a little bit, but I'm trying my best to narrate as good as possible for y'all. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. And I think I'm going to go on with just finishing this series. I'm not going to worry about the Nafumi What If, so I'm sorry if you guys were worried about or want to see that. I might finish it, I might not. It just happened at the worst time. Like, I started it at the worst time. Like, when I start series and then go on extended breaks because I'm like, I don't feel good or I'm sick, that's kind of what happens. I have to cancel them. Normally, I have to cancel them because I just don't have the creative urge to continue them. So I wanted to say that really quick. But nonetheless, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.